Hari Om. Hari Om. Hello, my friends. As usual, we are meeting here in a room, subtle room, cyber room. Nice that we can meet. Marie asked me about signs on the spiritual path, describing a few instances where she felt there was a clear sign. She wonders how much of it is true, how much it's just made up by the mind. Are we alone, or are there forces that guide us and give us signs? We are alone, but not lonely. We're alone and yet connected with everything there is. No one is an island. Everything is connected. So she asks, do we get guidance? Is there somehow signs that we can read? Yes, we are getting actually that guidance all the time. As soon as we are opening our heart to the good, to that which is expansive, it's like the good forces of the universe come and support us. This is simply there, whether we are aware of it or not. And of course, there are a lot of signs that are happening all the time. We have to be cautious about that. Because if you are looking out for signs, is there any guidance here? Is there any guidance there? Is there anything happening that could be a sign? Then it's so easy to start to imagine all kinds of nonsense. Then any damn thing that is happening, we can interpret it as a sign from a higher force that wants to tell us like this and like that. So be cautious about it. But sometimes there are those moments, something is happening, or we're reading something, or we're hearing something, but anything it can be, and it's so clear, that feeling, there is a real pointer. And then you can take it serious. You can accept it, okay, that is a pointer from a higher force to help me to choose the right direction, to help me in one way or another for the next step, for what is just happening right now. Sometimes it may come in response of something that we are thinking, that something is happening, and oh, okay. If that feeling is strong, at that moment, you can accept it as a sign. But don't go about looking for signs. If we, I've seen it a lot. People want to see signs everywhere, and then they can interpret whatever is happening according to their mind, and not really from the self. Then, yes, this is pointing out, and sometimes people have the most crazy ideas, and then, but it's not me. I'm getting all the signs. It's all pointed in a certain direction, and we can build up whole delusions and believe it's reality. So don't look out for signs all the time, but if something is happening and it's just touching you, it's resonating with you, without that, with most of the time, without looking for a guidance or for a sign. And yet it is clear, there is a real pointer, then you can accept it. Oh, thank you very much. In the oneness, you are alone. In the oneness, there is also the multiplicity. And there we are not alone, but all one. We are connected with everything. But as a manifestation, one is in company all the time with a lot of forces, whether we are aware of it or not. Unfortunately, it works also the bad way. If we are opening up to negativity, to destruction, there are a lot of forces who are very happy to come in and help us and support us and make us more destructive, because they are feeding on it. In the Hindu tradition, they do a lot of rituals. And it is said that the devas, they are benefiting from it. They are getting an elixir out of it. They are getting an ambrosia out of it. And then one man once told me, I don't want to do practice. I don't want to do any of that thing. I don't want to be food for the gods. But this is nonsense. We are anyhow connected all the time to all the subtle levels. We may not be aware of them, but many of the subtle levels are aware of our level. And if we are opening up to the good forces, to that which is expansive and beautiful and constructive, then it's true, if we are doing practices, if we are doing rituals, or just even if we are just consciously living our life and connecting with the essence, there we are radiating something. A lot of subtle beings will be attracted and will benefit from it. But it is not that we are losing something because of that, but it goes two ways. Their presence is also giving us something. So it's a win-win situation. It's not that we are doing practice and somebody else is taking the benefit of it and cheating us. It's not that we are connecting with the positive and the expansive and then somebody else gets the benefit. But yes, there are subtle beings who are benefiting a lot, but we are benefiting from their connection. They are being attracted to such a situation where there is somebody or where there is a group coming together, connecting with the essence, being closer to that innocent beingness. They feel very attracted to that, but they are also charging the atmosphere with something very precious. So both sides are winning. Both sides are gaining. So it's not like that man said, oh, then I don't want to do practice. I don't want to be food for the gods, as if somehow he's losing something because of this. No. It's a win-win situation. Both sides are benefiting. Whereas if you are opening up to negativity, if we hold on to destructive feelings, and behave destructive, it attracts dark forces and they are getting a kick out of it. They like that energy, they suck that energy out of the situation, but they are not giving anything back. Or if they are giving something back energetically, it's just to support our negativity to get even more destructive. that they can get more out of it. So if you are opening up to darkness, then the situation becomes draining. And there that man could say, he didn't say that, but that man could say, okay, then you get becoming food for the demons. If you are opening to the positive, both sides are getting richer and expansive. If you are opening to negativity, then we are getting drained. The energy is sucked out from us. And it has the tendency, when that energy is going, it has the tendency to pull us more into negativity, and to pull us more into depressive, gloomy spaces from where it's so easy to be in a spiral and descend and descend. If our intention basically is to be in tune with God, with reality, with the self, immediately we have a lot of support. In that sense, Marie, we are not alone. Every attempt, every effort that we are making in the right direction is like we are getting immediately that much support and energy that it becomes easier to make the next step. Still, we will have to go to really difficult times. Still, it may not always be easy, but still, at the same time, that support is there to help us. And sometimes they give us signs. You're right. And I repeat, if it touches you unexpectedly, it just comes. Then you can accept it as a clear pointer, a sign, but don't look out for signs. Is there anything that gives me an answer that makes it easier to decide this moment? And then we are making up signs, and sometimes they are totally wrong. Just be here now, connect with yourself. And if you need pointers, they come and you recognize them as pointers. Okay. And then there is a question from Maria. She says hello to the whole Sangha, to the whole group. She's right now in Bali in the ashram of her guru, who has passed away some time ago, doing an intensive 1 month practice there. And she asked, how is it with the thoughts? Comes there the moment where they are just not more there? Or is that chatter simply going on and on and on? Is it just so that we can deal with it easier, but still the chatter goes on and on and on and on? Everybody may have experienced in their practice, or if they practice regularly, sometimes it happens out of practice that you feel detached from thoughts. The thoughts still go on, but you experience that detachment, that you are not going along with them, they're just objects that come and go. And if you see them and remain in that position, the thoughts have the tendency to get slower, to get less. And if you keep going, the point will come where the detachment from that level is natural, where it's simply there. And then this chaotic thinking one moment in one direction, the next moment is in another direction, left and right and up and down, and that restless chatter that is ceasing. Thoughts will come, but then you can reasonably put one thought after another, thinking about the subject, and if you think it's enough, then you just drop it, and it's dropped. Whereas, as long as one is attached to the thoughts, sometimes the thoughts turn round and round and round, and I think I have had it, thought enough of it, and now finished. It's finished for 2 seconds, and then and then it comes back again. There comes the moment of the detachment that this is not more happening. That even if thoughts, a subject comes up strongly, and you think around it for some time, then you think, no, it's enough. You just drop it, it goes. You're not more so pushed around by your thoughts. But in the beginning, the thoughts will be there most of the time. But as the time is passing, it's getting quieter and quieter, and less thoughts are there. That you have just periods where simply there are no thoughts. Not only when you are sitting quietly and meditating, it can happen when you are active. In the midst of action, you become aware there are just no thoughts. And as the time is passing, it's less and less. But even if there are thoughts, they are not more disturbing, pulling your attention against your will in a direction. That restlessness of going one way, the other way, chaotic thoughts branch out all the time from here to here, to here to here, and up and down, without any sense in it. That is over. And I will quote here an incident from Ramana Maharshi. I have talked about it earlier, but it fits. So I will tell it again, that a devotee asked Ramana Maharshi, but Bhagavan, are you still having thoughts? And Ramana said, usually I'm not having thoughts. And then the devotee asked, but you are talking to people. So when you talk, you must have some thoughts. And Ramana said, yes, of course. When I'm talking, then I'm having thoughts. But usually I'm not having thoughts. And then the person asked again, but then I also see you reading. When you read, you must have some thoughts. And Ramana replied again, yes, of course. When I'm reading, then I'm having thoughts. But usually I'm not having thoughts. I mean, he has been sitting for so many years, and it has just become completely quiet. You may be in conscious touch with the essence, and still there is not that equal total quietness like in a being like Ramana. But the tendency is, as I said, as the time passes, it's getting quieter and quieter. And even if thoughts are there, they are not disturbing thoughts, creating tensions, creating pain, creating suffering. And then one has the freedom to pick up consciously a line of thoughts, think about the subject constructively. Think about it for some time, see different options, see problems and solutions, and if one feels I thought enough of it, then one just drops it and that's it. So that struggle with thoughts ends. We don't have to struggle forever and ever and ever with thoughts. I'm sure most of you have experienced moments, maybe periods, where that detachment happened. The thoughts were coming like objects, coming, being there a moment, going, and one doesn't feel pulled into it and pulled along with it. It's then like you sit at the side of a river and you just see the water flowing by, but it doesn't pull you into the stream. You don't float along with it. You just sit beside the river and the river flows. This may happen momentary on the way, but the point comes where while it was rather difficult, it seemed difficult before, it becomes simple and easy. All right. Then I leave the subject and I stop just talking by myself, asking you, is there anyone who would like to come in and say something? You are welcome. There is the construction going on just nearby. I hope it doesn't disturb too much what is happening there.
Hello.
Hello, Leora.
Yeah, I'll jump in as usual.
You're welcome.
I also wanted to ask something about what you said, but about negative, opening to the negative. But first I'll ask what I came with and then I'll see what later.
Yeah.
So it's about relationships. I think I brought it last week also. And this week I met with a friend and she told me something that happened in her work. That she had an appointment with her boss. They were supposed to meet in the morning and he kept saying, I'll come later and later. Finally, he came at 4 o'clock, which is like the end of the day. And she said to him, good morning, like with a smile. This is how she described it to me.
Yeah.
And that was after we had a long conversation about relationships, really, because she has a wonderful attitude, actually. She's very free from all the nuts, all the stories, all the, whatever comes with relationships, all the rules. So when she said that, I said to her, so you didn't have any emotions, any comments coming up in you, any anger, nothing, that he came so late? So she didn't know what I was talking about. She really did. Yeah. And she went like, I don't understand what you mean. So I said, well, usually, I mean, for most people, at least for me, even though he told you a few times that he was going to be late, still, for me anyway, I would be somehow upset, whatever. And there would be thoughts and negativity and stories going on in my mind and all that. And I said to her, actually, this part that just doesn't exist in you. This human, habit or just doesn't exist in you. Okay, so what do you have to say about it? Because maybe I'll say something else. I've just started noticing that I've been looking for myself for how to have relationships with people, but without the duties of having to keep the connection, of having to follow the last meeting we had or the last interaction we had. Every time start from a new place. This is how it is now, today. So we spoke about it a lot, her and me. And then I realized about what I was telling you about her, that she just didn't have this part of so-called working in the relationships. Like I do, and I think many people also do that.
Actually, what's your question about it? How is it possible that she doesn't have that?
Are you asking if this is what I'm asking?
Yes, I'm asking whether this is what you're
no,
asking.
I think it's possible, but it's very unusual. So I just wonder I don't know, your experience about it, or if you have anything to say about it, or maybe not. I mean,
obviously she has somehow, somewhere done a lot of work already on that she can live in this human world and not be sucked into the usual way of functioning, of reacting all the time. Like a difficult situation, as you described it now, usually makes people react, and they start to slowly steam away, and the time is passing. Why are we doing that? Because I'm identifying with that idea of myself, the person. I am this person. I am this ego. And I have certain ideas and certain expectations, and if they are not fulfilled, then I'm reacting, getting angry. Or if I expect a certain respect, and if that respect is not being shown, then I'm reacting. And if somebody doesn't identify so strongly with this level, because this person is just a self-image that we are creating. If we are not doing that, then we still play our role in this world, but we don't create a personality that is separate from the whole rest, but just see, okay, this is the role that I'm playing in this game. And sometimes the role is favorable and sometimes unfavorable. And then even in unfavorable situations, one may not react. Sometimes it may be part of the role that we still react. That's part of the play. But obviously she has, whether she has done that consciously or not, she has detached to a great deal, more than most of the people from that level. And because she has done so, she can also be in a situation that is not very favorable without reacting, without getting all tense and angry about it. So that's something that is very valuable to go towards, to look for.
mm-hmm. Yeah, for her it came with the work of Baron Katie. This is what she says, but she's not the case. I don't want to talk about her. Yeah, it's true. It's a great place to be at. Yeah, to not work so much there in relationship. We don't have to actually keep relationships. The whole word relationships, I'm not sure. I have to look into it really. We don't have to keep relationships because we have relationships, and it goes so much deeper than what I say to the other person or what I don't say and what they say to me. It goes so much deeper. There is so much more to relationships, but not somehow we're not familiar with it. I mean, you know, I have relationships with the bus driver when I go on the bus and put my card there. And I mean, there is
Yes.
a minute of relationship with him. It's all the time there, but then we give some emphasis to those people, family or friends or neighbors, whoever, and we put so much energy. Maybe I would say I don't want to talk for other people. So much energy in keeping it the way we want or think I want it to be,
Right.
rather than just like have faith and let go and sometimes it works, sometimes of course it's upsetting, but still the work itself is upsetting.
Right.
But going in the mind is yeah.
Yes, and you're right. We don't have to keep relationships in the sense that we have to think about it and how do I have to behave and what do I have to do. If we stop doing that, then you stop thinking about it and the subject simply drops. You are not busy with relationships and how should I do. And then you still learn all the time if somehow in a situation I react in a way that I feel after that this was not necessary, it may have hurt that person, then I can learn from it and intend not to do so, but not after that sit there and brood about it and build up strategies how to behave the next time. If we stop being afraid that somehow I'm losing these relationships or I'm misbehaving in a relationship, then the subject simply disappears. It's not in your mind anymore.
So, just one more thing. Yesterday I called my sister. She is very, very romantic, and she sat. Some people came to visit her son and family and their friend, and she said to me, "Yeah, everybody loves." No, she said I have many guests, and I said, "Great, everybody loves you, so everybody comes to visit you." So she says, I love everybody, so everybody loves me.
Yeah.
And that was so sweet for her to say in the brain that now is deteriorating. And it was very, very sweet, very simple conversation full of love and good intentions.
Yes, it's a very good position that she takes there, even if her intellectual capacities are diminishing. Obviously, her heart is open.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Is there anybody else who would like to come in? You're welcome to come in.
Werner.
Hello. I see Moksha. Hello, Moksha.
Yes. Yes. I have some experience made. I was a long time had no really contact with women, and suddenly this changed.
Yeah.
And I was before looking why I don't have.
Sorry, Moksha, you are breaking up.
Oh, better.
Yeah. Somehow also your image stopped and I didn't hear anything.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yes, it comes and goes.
Oh, well, if it is not possible, then we will see.
Well, try again. If I'll tell you if it's not working. So I came to the point that for a long time you didn't have contact with women, and then it changed. And from there, I didn't really get it.
Yeah, that was actually what I said. And I was experiencing something changed in the system, and I didn't know what. And since then, I have many nice contacts.
Yeah.
And then I see afterwards, I was walking around unaware with no. But I was not aware of it. And suddenly it changed, and now the context started. And then also comes like, I want this, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And also I see, now we talk about relationship, that lots of fear in contact with women to if there's something beautiful happen, directly the fear comes, I lose it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was always this fear.
Yeah.
I lose. Amazing.
Yeah.
What this is influencing. I was seeing maybe this is
Somebody is at the gate. That's why they are making this noise here.
I know these boys, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think this is what a lot of violence creates in the world. This fear of losing something.
Yes, yes.
Today I was meditating at water, and suddenly came up that my feeling, I want to feel good.
Yeah.
And I make it dependent on anything outside.
Right.
And this habit is subtle.
Yeah.
But it takes me out of myself.
Right.
And then, of course, the fear is there. If I'm not in contact with me, then of course I'm dependent on something else. It seems to be.
Yeah.
And it was incredible intense to feel or to see. I'm still so much outside. I was completely not aware of it. It is very subtle to make be dependent or on the outside. It can be any little damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was, now I feel, I saw it, and I directly, it was like if I was sucked more into myself suddenly at once.
Yeah.
The energy is at once coming. Oops! Oh, wow! Amazing! Amazing! I go out of myself without unaware, and then of course I feel lost.
Yeah.
This I wanted to share.
Right. I've heard most of it. Sometimes when you go back, it's somehow the sound doesn't come, but it was clear what you were talking about. Please, Karina, turn off your microphone. You're interfering a little bit. Karina? Okay. So, right, but basically you answered already yourself. What makes it into a problem? It's not whether you have contact or not contact with women that creates a problem. It's not whether you are having contact or not contact with the world that makes a problem. The problem is how we are dealing with it. And as soon as something feels good, there is the tendency that I'm getting attached, I want to hold on to, I don't want to lose that feeling. And then along with it comes the whole tail of reactions, the fear of losing it, and the anger when losing it, and the frustration when it was not there. Because, as you already mentioned, I make my well-being dependent on the external situation. The more you are self-aware, the more you are aware, the happiness comes out of myself. The more are you naturally relaxed and at ease and deal with the circumstances natural. And maybe for a longer period in your life, you are more alone, and then suddenly it may be all right that you're not much alone. But that fear we can lose, we can give up, and out of habit it may come back. That because I have been functioning for a long time in a certain way, it comes again. But when the fear comes back, then you can also just become aware instead of starting to struggle with it and fight it. Oh, it's still there. Okay, I see you. There you are again. And just focus on the fear. Don't fight the fear. Let the fear come. See the whole mechanism that is involved. See what it is doing to your experience right now, how it is affecting your body, how it's getting you tense energetically, and relax. And the more we relax, then the more that habit is reducing, that as soon as something nice is happening, or even the idea is there something nice could happen, then that the fear comes, but I could lose it again. The more you are self-sufficient, knowing I'm complete in myself, that sense of fulfillment and completeness comes out of myself, the more you are just totally relaxed and open and can deal with the situation very freely. And then your story may turn that way, that you get into a relationship and you can bring much more into the relationship if you don't bring that fear in it, or if you don't want to hold on to it, but are just your natural self, at ease, at peace. But habits are habits, and habits have their own power, have their own momentum. And even if you know better, the habit still may come up. And then there is no point in fretting about that. Okay, accept there is still some work to do there. All right, it has still power. But if I see it, if I'm not getting unconsciously sucked into it, then I'm not strengthening the habit. But the habit is getting less. Karina, I don't know whether you can hear me, but please, if you hear me, turn off your microphone. You are coming in repeatedly.
I can write her, Werner. I can write her later.
Yeah.
To maybe see a reading. And,
yeah.
I see also it is not only with women, but it is the whole thing, like I need something for my happiness.
Right.
Oh, I was thinking I am pretty with myself, but in the pool I suddenly saw, oh, there's still so much energy unaware going out. I need this, I need that. And if that's suddenly seen and it is bringing me back home, it costs a lot of energy, this.
Yes.
I need something. Eh?
Yes.
Even if it's not big things, it's such a habit in the system with all kind of little things.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all whether it's whether it's a private jet or whether it's just or whether it's just a teeny little thing. It's the amount of belief that I need it in order to be happy that we put into it that matters.
Ground belief I was not aware of. All kind of, it is a ground thing that I think I need something outside.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
And it's to see it so clear. Oh, it started with a woman, but then it came, oh, it is everywhere. I put it everywhere.
Right, right.
Ah, yeah. nice to hear what you say about it, because it is always good to remember. And yeah, I like very much what you say about it.
We are doing that in our mind. But even if we are getting clearer and see it, it doesn't mean from that moment it simply stops. The habit is there and will come back. But if we are clear, basically, then we can be alert and see, oh, there it is again. And I need not go down that alley anymore. I see it, I observe it, I relax, and it passes by.
Yeah, in the past I thought, oh, now I've seen it, it's over. I feel, no, this is such a deep thing in the system and habits. And it is, if to see it is already a blessing, it doesn't need to stop directly, you know. I feel, I'm on the path, it becomes more beautiful, more relaxed, little step by step by step, and it's fantastic.
Right, that's how it goes.
Beautiful, huh?
Right, right.
Yeah, it's a gift. It is really a gift, a blessing.
Very good, very nice.
Thank you, Werner. And I will write Karina, because I still see she has the phone,
the microphone on. Yeah.
Microphone. I will write her a little message.
All right.
Thank you, Werner.
Hari Om. Hari Om. You're welcome. Is there anybody else who would like to come in? You're welcome. Moksha, don't forget to turn off your microphone.
You're right.
Is there anybody else who would like to come in? Please come in. The thing with old habits is they have a certain power. If a habit is relatively recent, it may be easy to see it and just to drop it. But certain habits, how we are functioning, how we are reacting, they are so deeply rooted. Somehow, many times we have copied them as little babies from the people around us. And then while growing up, we have made it stronger and stronger without being aware. And then when we start to become more self-conscious, more observative, we are all surprised. How is it possible that although I don't want anything, I don't want to function in a certain way, still it's happening. We may decide in a certain situation, I completely overreacted, and decide, okay, if that similar situation comes again, I'm not going to react. It's not going to happen. Then the situation comes and puff, there we're doing it again. And sometimes it may feel very, very frustrating. And people sometimes think, okay, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm turning round and round and round and round. But we are not turning round and round in the same spot. We just become more aware what's going on. I remember having complained to Amma after 5 years of staying with her and just spending my time sitting on my bum and trying to keep quiet and trying to meditate and complaining that, okay, sometimes it may be peaceful, but then I get up and I react like before. Somebody comes and insults me and puff, I react. So I said, what's the point? I meditate, and after that still I'm functioning like this. And she said, at least now you are aware of it. Right. And that makes all the difference. Then she said also, you may think you are always in the same place, but I see so clearly, it's not so. There is a continuous progress on that level where there can be progress, which you are not aware of, but at least now you are aware how you are reacting. And when we are aware that we are reacting in ways that we don't want to react, but still reacting, then there comes that feeling of yuck, not liking it, disgust. That very feeling helps us to detach from it. Of course, it's then we can make the mistake of getting totally into another game and starting to lament about it, starting to punish ourselves, starting to judge ourselves, starting to scold ourselves and condemn ourselves, and there we are playing again a destructive habit. It doesn't help. But seeing it, seeing what is happening, and sometimes also feeling, why? No. Okay, there we step out. And instead of feeling depressed that it's still happening, accepting, okay, there, got me again. Fellow said something, I reacted. It's not necessary. And then let that feeling be there. That reaction. And see it and watch it. You can even invite it. Remember the situation again, if it's already gone. Let the feeling come up. Remember what he said to me, and then my reaction. And then invite that reaction and see what it is doing in your system right now. Really consciously observe. See how the whole body has the tendency to get all tense, full of tensions, especially the legs, there it starts. But then it's there in the belly, in the chest, in the arms. And then relax. Relax your legs. Relax your feet. And the whole body starts to relax. And if we physically relax, then we energetically relax. And then mentally, emotionally, and intellectually, bringing it together as mentally, we become clearer and relax. For the moment, it may be gone, and we may think, okay, now I saw it clearly and it's gone, and you feel so relieved. But then the same situation, similar situation comes back, and we still react. And then don't get disheartened. Okay, go about it again. Every time we can see things like this, every time we can see the reactions, the habits, the power of it, and deal with it in a detached way, the habit is getting weaker. It has become so strong because we were not aware of it and kept on repeating certain patterns over and over and over. And then it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And after that, once it's in place, the momentum is there that in certain situations, we just react like this. And then we see it and say, no, I don't want to react like this, but the power is still there. But every time you see it, and then you consciously deal with it by seeing what it is really doing to your experience right now, here, now. And there, consciously let go, the habit is getting weaker. And then if that alertness is there, we'll catch ourselves earlier and earlier. Maybe it's not more necessary that we sit there steaming away in a corner for a long time until we become aware that there, I'm doing it again. But we're catching ourselves earlier and earlier and earlier until we're also capable in the situation itself. See, there the reaction comes. There we develop the freedom. Should I now just sort of step a step back and let that reaction pass like a puff of air? Or we have the freedom that maybe in this situation it's perfectly valid to show a big force or to react in a certain way and let it happen without attachment. It's there, it goes, we drop it, there is no problem. Certain things go quite easy, certain things they just need time, that we see it again and again. But even the most profound ingrained habits, when we see them as not helpful, as destructive, with patience, with the determination, we can get rid of it. We can get detached from it. That it doesn't have any power anymore. It may still come back, but it has no more power. Then the other aspect Moksha talked about it. Yes, of course, that is a big thing in our life, that we have that whole agenda, how the circumstances should be, and relationship, of course, is always high in the list, because so much emotions are being involved in relationships, that always taking a high place, positive and negative. But that idea that I need this, I need that in order to be complete is very strong. And as long as we feeding that idea, then always the fear is there. If something is nice, I'm going to lose it. Because I think I'm happy now because it's there, and when it's not there, then I'm not happy. What we have to become aware is that when the circumstances are to our liking, we relax. We spend less energy thinking things should be different, that I would be happy. When I like the circumstances, then relax. Everybody does that. People who are absolutely not going consciously through their life, but in a moment where they like the situation, they relax, at least to some extent. And in that relaxation, that natural joyousness of existence comes to the surface and we are happy. In the mind, we have the tendency then to think I was happy because it was like this and like this and like this. And we try to recreate it. And of course, like that, it's not working. We struggle and struggle to bend the circumstances to our liking. And it's working sometimes, but many times it doesn't work. And even if it works, usually there's a whole tail is attached to it that we didn't really want to, but it also comes along. And so we can go running and running and running for happiness in one way or another, instead of becoming aware all we need to do is to let go. To let go of those tensions, those contradictions, all that we are holding on to, that prevent us to be aware that happiness, that joyousness is always present. If we give it a chance, it comes to the surface and we become aware it has never been upset. What we have to learn is to let go, to relax, to remove all those barriers that we keep in the psyche, the contradictions, the tensions, the unfulfilled desires that we hold on to and think, hey, I would be so much happier if I had this or I had that. Moksha was perfectly right. It doesn't matter what. It can be a little silly thing. It can be a big thing. What counts is how much I hold on to that idea. It would be so much better if that was there. If you are not conscious, we may do that all the time. But once we become aware of it, then we become more aware of those mechanisms. We can start to let them go and relax them. They come back again. We see them again, relax them again. They come back again. We see them again. We relax them again. And so, essentially, we are always that pure divinity, full of bubbling joyousness. But the experience, for most of the people, with a few rare exceptions, is that we start to become more and more conscious, and gradually we can let things go, and gradually it's becoming easier and naturally more joyous. That's how it goes. Then some periods it will be very easy, and then there will be again a period where it's more difficult. That's how it goes. If we keep that alertness, reminding ourselves, it's getting easier and easier, and we are getting more and more motivated because we see all that is preventing me from being in that sense of fulfillment, the joyousness of existence, is all that stuff that I'm putting in the way. And I need not do that anymore. Okay. I'm asking again, is there anybody who would like to come in? You're welcome. $21 people. Nobody wants to talk.
So I'll go again, Werner, if it's okay.
Yes.
Your picture has frozen. I don't know if it's only for me or for everybody.
No, yeah,
but
I see it's frozen. Is it frozen since a long time?
Yeah, a couple of minutes, yeah.
Okay, yeah. There we are again.
So about what I said before, what you spoke about
the dark forces.
Oh, yeah, I think if I understood it right, it's opening to dark forces. I don't know how dark, because yesterday I went to bring something to a friend, and she was very agitated, very restless with tensed with her son, and very problems like from here to far away.
Yeah.
And I listened to her. And we are like friends, sort of friends. I listened to her with compassion. I didn't have much to say about the situation, as I've taught myself to not have to say where what I have to say cannot help. So, you know, just asked her if she's getting any professional help, and that's all I actually said.
Yeah.
And when I came home, I felt I was wondering whether I should have listened to all that story with her, just because of what you said about it's not really dark forces, but it's not easy energies, I would say, not easy energies. I came home, she lives like really close to here, and I felt that my breath was short and like was stuck here, and I felt it influenced me somehow. I could deal with it. It's not a big deal. So of course I feel that sometimes I would listen to a person like that because I feel she needed it, and somehow it's not that she calls me every day, or we just every now and then when we meet, yeah. So I wonder if this is what you meant, or you meant something else about like dark forces, which is really
dark.
Like heavy. Yeah, really dark. Exactly. She's not dark, but she has problems.
Yeah. No, I meant it not so much externally like the situation you described, but even letting ourselves go into depressive moods is already an opening for dark forces. Now, let's come to the situation you described. Of course, people with problems, if you are listening to them, they will unburden a lot of heavy energy onto you. You just have to be aware that this is happening. And then you can decide, am I ready to do so, or am I not ready to do so? For people feel relieved if you do so, and you may help them in doing so, but some people, you can listen to the same stuff over and over and over, and they never take the clue that they could learn to function in a different way. So you have the full right to decide how much you want to go into that, but you can also learn to be more. It's a process that we can become better and better in it, in learning to be more aware in the situation itself, that you feel that energy, that heavy energy that comes out of a person full of problems. And if you carefully listen, then naturally you are picking up a lot of it, then that you learn not to keep it in your system, but let it become more and more transparent, that it flows through you and doesn't leave a trace. Even then, even when you could become better in it, it's good that after such a situation you have a moment where you can relax and let leave the system what is still there of tensions. But you are not opening to dark forces if you listen to somebody like that, except if you are being sucked into their negativity and you start to feel more and more also in the same way negative, commiserating, and then at the end there are just two people very miserable. And there you have a little bit open to dark forces. And you can open to dark forces like just not taking the trouble to directing your attention towards the light, but letting yourself go into misery, into dark moods. And then, of course, there is the possibility that some people open very consciously to dark forces with all kinds of dark rituals and stuff, trying to get power of it. out of it, but getting maybe certain desires fulfilled, but actually energetically getting more and more sucked dry by those forces.
You mean they do it on purpose?
Some people do that stuff on purpose, right? Hoping to get power out of it and arranging things in the world through dark forces, but it's an illusion. They may feel it works, but actually their energy is getting more and more taken over by those dark forces. But
Okay.
most of the people, I mean, anytime we are completely overwhelmed by negative emotions, we are opening a bit to dark forces. And when we see it, we can also easily get out of it. But I said it there in the comparison because somebody said they don't want to produce positive energy because then these subtle guys, they are benefiting from it. But if we are producing lightful, positive energy, then there are subtle beings who are very happy about it and they are getting something out of it, but we are getting something back from it. It's going both ways and it's a win-win situation. It's not somebody is profiting of somebody else and somebody is losing. But if we are opening up to negative emotions, there also subtle beings, there are subtle beings who like those negative energies very much and they are feeding on it, but they don't give us anything back. They just take the energy away and we do lose. They are gaining and we do lose.
So what you say about positive energy, like sometimes we tend maybe to make somehow an effort to be positive, but maybe sometimes it's not really sincere.
Yeah.
It's something we learn to do or somebody suggested or, you know, but you're talking about the situation when it's really sincere, when I'm really relaxed and balanced, and then people just feel it and then I don't have to make any effort there. It's like really,
That's
I don't
correct.
always even know it. I don't even always know it when I'm like that.
We cannot artificially do it, but we can open up to it. We can open up to be in harmony, to be at ease, to open up to the self, or if one prefers, open up to God, or open up to positive forces in the universe. Whatever the words are, it's always going in the same direction, but we can consciously open up to that. We cannot have it under our personal control how successful we are, but we can open up. And as soon as we are opening, it's like we are attracting forces that are supporting it, that are helping us, because they like if it really is happening. And if we do the opposite, if we just let go into frustration, in anger, in gloominess, in destructive behavior, then we are attracting other forces that are supporting us also in that, but simply to harvest, the energy that we are sending out. I mean, we can consciously, when there is that feeling of gloominess, we can consciously accept, okay, it's there. And even invite it, okay, let it be there. But then when you so observe it, actually you are already detaching from it. You are not more involved in it and making it worse and worse, but then you are observing it and see what it is doing, and there you are not getting sucked into darkness.
Right, different energy to observe.
Right, then actually with the observation you are already opening up again to that creative, expansive energy.
Yeah, this is beautiful again. Yeah, I always feel there is something you say, and then I say, okay, fine, thank you. It's like, yeah, it's beautiful.
Don't be
Yeah,
afraid.
observe.
Don't be afraid of being around people that are full of negativity, but you don't have to force yourself. If you feel that's not what I have to
No.
do, then it's then you don't need to do it. But if you feel naturally as a response to be with somebody who is full of that heavy stuff, and you listen to all that and burden your system with all that energy, then just be aware of your energy also as good as you can. And if you forget, then do the job afterwards. Then, okay, see, I have now quite charged my system. And now I'm sitting a bit quietly and breathe and relax and let it somehow get either transformed or sent out of the system.
Yeah, it's only actually recently that I've started noticing this change in the quality of the breath that gives me a sign of something I need to look into. And yeah.
And the more we are then capable to keep that awareness and, for example, to keep the breath consciously, quiet and deep, even while listening to all that stuff, then more and more you become transparent that it still comes to your system, but it is immediately transformed. It doesn't stay there and create a burden.
Yeah, for me, this is a great lesson because I've been living without a skin, really, for all my life, and everything seemed to influence and enter. No defense mechanism. So it's great to hear that. Beautiful. Okay.
So we leave it at
Thank
that.
you.
Huh?
Yeah, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yeah.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else who would like to come? If we want to, we can take some more time. This is a magic show, this world. We have come here for that. We have come here knowing we are getting involved in all these kinds of stuff. And the tendency, because everybody functions in a certain way, is to become completely forgetful and unconscious, not being aware of what's going on. But we can become aware. And then everything becomes play. It's not for nothing that we came here. Having continuously these confrontations, that continuous change of a pleasant moment and unpleasant moment, nice people, not so nice people, all that energetic movement that is going on in that living process is a continuous challenge. Every moment we have that possibility not to be attached to the external circumstances, to the sensations, to the emotions, to the thoughts, but bring the attention back to that silent source, that pureness, that innocence, that purity. We have come into this game, into this magic show to learn this. At least it's an aspect of that process, of learning process. And we have every moment an opportunity to become stronger in it. Every moment we may get lost in the sensations, in the thoughts, in the emotions, in the energies that are playing. Or we can become aware of that silent aspect in us that is not affected by it. And the more we live from that perspective, the easier the whole game becomes. And the more powerful is the benefit from living in this world. It's like as long as we are involved and attached to all the tensions, we are burning up all that energy just to continue from moment to moment. And the more we are aware, actually, sense cannot be touched. And still experience the whole game, the more powerful those energetic games that are happening, building up something very, very precious that stays with us, that we are taking out when we go. We cannot take any of all the other stuff that we possibly can accumulate in this world with us. But this preciousness that we're learning, that we are accumulating in course of the process, that is there to stay. All right, let's stop the satsang for today. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.